Okay, I might as well just get this one out the way. Mid-arc, the outro was changed, and I kinda just didn't care enough to say anything about it until right now. The old one was like this sunset thing, and the new one, which now isn't the new one, is like this fan art montage. So you know how we're in like the three-way deadlock right now? You know, like Big Snake, Big Toad, and Big Slug? Well, did you also know there's a giant pig? Something I really like about the start of the episode is how it feels like a calm before the storm. It lets the tension build until it hits a breaking point, then it just gets right into the action. Something fitting for a finale episode.
Today, I'm putting Orochimaru out of our misery once and for all.
So that was a fucking lie.
Well, Orochimaru, why have you dragged me here? You know I don't like being summoned. Maybe I should just eat you and be done with it.
The intro to Manda is really good. We get a good grasp of how he acts, but what's especially cool is how he treats Orochimaru. When you compare how Orochimaru handles him to how Sasuke handles him later, it's pretty crazy. Gamabunta's just disrespectful as hell, isn't he? I get he's your enemy, but blowing smoke in his face before anything started is like next level rage bait. As I said last episode, the three-way deadlock is directly inspired by Japanese mythology. But did you know the fight itself stays mostly true to this mythology? I actually had it mixed up last episode, said the complete opposite of what it actually was, but the fight still stays true. What it actually is the slug beats the snake beats the toad, and the toad beats the slug. So right here, we see the snake immediately go for the slug, cause that's the biggest threat. We see the slug survive the snake attack since it's strong against snakes, but right after, we see the snake counter the toad since it's strong against toads. What's cool though is that it stops there, since the toad won't counter the slug since they're on the same team. As we get further into this fight, I'll talk about it more in depth, cause the whole rock, paper, scissors system actually plays into a certain character's arc.
Now, Katsuyu! Yes, my lady!
Quick question. Can Katsuyu, like, actually die? If they're in a bad situation, can't they just, like, split? And also, how much can they split? This might seem like a cop-out that the Dosu Blade, not him unfortunately, missed Katsuyu, but if you look at it closely, this thing was gonna fall short, so they're not just lying to you yet. Cause a second later, the show doesn't really lie to you, but it deceives you. And I'll mention that in a second.
Fire style! Toad Flame Bomb!
Cool touch, but Hiruzen does a very similar move against Orochimaru in their fight, further showing that Jiraiya is Hiruzen's student. This is kind of where the show deceives you a bit. You'd expect Tsunade to stay on Katsuyu, not only because Jiraiya tells her to, but also because you see her standing on Katsuyu in earlier shots. But the show decides to say, fuck that, and pulls this, which is a cool reveal since we didn't even know Tsunade could do this. Not only that, but it plays back into her character arc. The old Tsunade, or old slug, would lose to the snake, but the new Tsunade won't, and we'll see that come into play a little bit later. It's kinda cool that Orochimaru says it's impossible, cause in his head, it should be. He sees Tsunade as weak right now cause of the ones she lost, and in the mythology, Snake loses to the slug. So in his head, they're actually on an even playing field. But again, this is a different Tsunade, so it's back to the regular outcome.
Take this!
I like how you can tell how scared Orochimaru is. Even if he's got his whole Immortal shit going on and Tsunade's still somewhat weak, he did not want to get hit with that.
Can't rest. Can't let up for a second.
First off, crazy sequence. Definitely the craziest combo we see in this arc. But we can technically get into more of the mythology stuff here. Slug normally beats Snake in the mythology, but since Orochimaru's on his Immortal shit or whatever, he's not as affected. This leads Tsunade to remembering why she's fighting, so she'll become even stronger to beat him. You can actually see some of Orochimaru's skin fall off here, and it teases the reveal of the body underneath. Remember a little bit ago when I said Tsunade's always at an instant advantage when she's fighting? No, you didn't, that's why I'm saying it again. Tsunade's always at an advantage because of how versatile she is when she's fighting. She can either create a crater or do something that takes a lot of precision. And right here is the perfect example of that advantage. Orochimaru can't really fight her here the way he did against Hiruzen because he has to constantly dodge her attacks just in case it's a really powerful hit. And when he attacks her, he has to do so in a way that accounts for this monster strength, which makes it easy for her to counter, like with what we just saw here. Like, I'm telling you, the best part about Tsunade's crazy strength is not the sheer power of it, it's the fact that it just scares the shit out of everyone.
I keep pounding him, but something's wrong. Why don't I feel like I'm getting anywhere?
Okay, why isn't she getting anywhere? There's two reasons, and both of them are probably the answer. The first one is simple. It's not Orochimaru's body, so she's still far from actually killing him. The second one is that since Tsunade is weaker due to the effects of mitomic generation, she's not hitting him as hard as she normally would. I honestly think the first one is the main reason since it kind of alludes to that later, but I still think the second one is also pretty valid. On a little side note here, is it just me or does this seem like Tsunade is like the strongest Sannin? I have no clue if she is. I've honestly never given it any thought because frankly I don't care. But her fighting in the last episode and this one, they kind of make it seem like she is.
Give my regards to hell.
On a real note, not a side note this time, even with the whole different body thing, how did he not die here? Or at least get like serious brain damage as a result? Punch to the face, okay. Hits his head on the sword, brutal, then falls head first. Like, this dude should be dead. I don't care if it's not his body, he should be dead. Even though it was teased earlier, I still think this is a really good reveal. Like, you finally think the threat of Orochimaru is over, but, hell no. It's definitely worthy of the Orochimaru theme in the background.
And I will destroy the Leaf Village. Depend on it.
Okay, like, how does this different bodies thing work even if he dies? Honestly, that's probably a question better left unanswered. You'll have some freak going on about some fuck-ass headcanon.
We'll meet again.
Bye-bye. Have you ever noticed Naruto's clothing kind of changed slightly? It technically changes in the Forest of Death, but I didn't care enough to mention it then, so I'm gonna talk about it right now. In the Land of Waves, he'd have like this armor thing he used to put under his clothes, but right now, he doesn't have it.
The jutsu side effects. Lady Tsunade.
Yeah, if only these side effects actually did something. They'll do something, right? They'll actually, you know, affect Tsunade, right?
Tsunade.
No more first names. You know what you've got to call me now.
Yeah, so Tsunade's talking her shit. This line is kind of just like tough. There's really no way around it.
What's wrong?
Come on, shouldn't the Hokage be kind and wise and everything? Like the old man used to be?
Oh yeah, kind, like the third Hokage. I can think of a couple things Hiruzen did that weren't so kind, but I mean, I guess that's just me.
Nothing personal or anything, but it's a big job, and I'm not sure she's up to it.
Okay, but does Naruto actually have a point? Is Tsunade really fit for Hokage? A leader, in reality, has one job. Put whatever you're leading in the right position to succeed, while caring for the people within it and the people that contribute to it. For some, that comes naturally, because all you need is critical thinking while still being empathetic. But for others, it's impossible, because they lack both traits, and to put it bluntly, they're terrible at making any sort of big-time decision as a result. Tsunade, though, is the former. She's already shown she can make big-time decisions for her village, one that's empathetic to the ones within it, and the ones contributing to it. Very cool.
You want to take this outside, kid?
Wait, I feel like this happened before. When have we seen this before? On a real note, though, again, this is a good callback, and it's a good spot to reflect on how much these characters have changed. You have Tsunade, who pretty much flipped her character around, and you have Naruto, who stuck to his beliefs and overcame everything stacked up against him to master the Rasengan. This moment allows the viewer to think about how far these two characters have come. But the best part about this moment isn't Tauntaun. It's that even though they went through this change, they're still arguing like before, which makes for a cool dynamic.
And even though I shouldn't dirty my hands on a little squirt like you, one finger's all I'm gonna need.
Wait, I feel like this happened before. When have we seen this before? Like last moment, this is one the viewer can reflect on and see how far these characters have come.
Oink!
I agree.
No, not the forehead again!
First off, again, this is 2 fingers, not 1, I don't care. But also, the first time we saw this scene, Tsunade flicked him, quite literally pushing him away. But here, she embraces him, showing the change in her character throughout the arc, as well as showing her admiration for him in a kiss. Which gets us into the next thing. Remember how a while back I talked about how each kiss is a sign of admiration, but each kiss means something different? No, you don't, that's why I just explained it. Anyways, what's this one mean? It's actually really simple, just like the other two. This kiss is for giving her hope again, like point blank, which makes for a really good moment, cause it solidifies Tsunade's character arc, while also giving another callback, like very fucking cool. Okay, don't get me wrong, right? I like the ending here, but I'ma just say this and have it out in the open, and y'all can take from it whatever you want. This ending feels like such a power of friendship ass ending to this part of the arc, and through all the rewatches, it just doesn't age well. In reality, it never changes my final impression, but still, it feels so much more different from what we've seen so far, and just, oh hell no. And that actually gets us into the outro itself. I'm gonna talk about the episode first, and then I want to give some thoughts on the arc so far, since we're technically at the end of the big part of the arc, yet not at the actual finish yet. This episode is a perfect end to the main chunk of this arc, and it's just like the end of the Chunin exams. It gets what it needs to get done with the fighting, and the emotional moments, then it looks towards a new chapter. Tsunade's character arc and her as a character are now solidified, and we got to see the 3-way deadlock, even if it feels kinda underwhelming in comparison to what these Sannin are built up to be later on. And overall, it's just a feel-good episode. It stumbles, but it still picks itself up. Now I'm on to the thoughts on the arc so far, which I just have to tell you right now, some of it's written, a lot of it isn't. I should probably start off by saying every time I go into search for Tsunade as an arc, I always have the impression that like, it's good, but it's just good. But every time I finish watching it, and especially after overanalyzing it, I can finally say, fuck no, it's not just good. Like, yeah, it does stumble a couple times, but it's still just amazing. The emotional moments are insanely powerful. The average level of fights is better than any arc we've seen so far, if that makes any sense. We're also shown to a character that's been built up technically since the preliminaries. And overall, we're shown one of the most concise yet powerful stories in all of Naruto. And at this point, Naruto as a show has found its feet and then proceeded to find its wings shortly after. And right now, us the viewer are just watching it get higher and higher. And it may stumble in the next few episodes, in fact it definitely will, but this right here, this is what leaves the impression of the arc, and it's what's the most memorable to us the viewer. So yeah, those are my thoughts, that's all. If you want to support me more than just watching this video, you can become a member on Patreon. And yeah, next episode, Tsunade's warning, ninja no more. Somehow. I don't really get it.